Okay, I clearly just woke up, but I saw this TikTok and it completely has mind fucked me a little bit. Hold on. Okay. And it was like the deepest form of hate is truly love. Or it was like I think the deepest form of hatred is really love or something like that. And I just woke up and I'm deep in my thoughts and it's Sunday morning and someone just told me like just to pick up my camera and just record. But I think that is the truth. Like, to know someone in and out, to know someone so beautifully, to know someone so deeply flawed and understand their flaws and still say I hate you, is because I know you and I know who you are and I know who you can be and I know who you've been and I know who you've shown up to be. But I hate you for the things that you did, the things that you said, the things that you've put me through. And I think there is something so contradicting about it, because like when someone says like, oh yeah, I hate this person, and it's just like it almost makes me want to say oh, because it's like, how much did you love that person to get to that type of hate? And I don't think I hate anyone in this world, but I think there was a point in time where I could say that I hated someone, but I was so in love with them. I loved them so much to the point where I hated them, and that hate for them started to turn into hate for me. And I think it's so like how we disguise our feelings when people are like, I have a deep hatred for someone, or like they hate someone. It's just like, I don't want to be the woke person in the room saying, well, what did they do for you to actually hate them? And I've always noticed when you ask someone what did they do for them to like hate you, I mean, no, what did they do to you for you to hate them? And it always kind of stems from like, well, I trusted, or I opened up, or we were this, or we used to be this, or, it always stems from love. So I guess the ideal question would be, does all love end in hate? In all reality, if hate is love, then ideally, how does it always end in, I hate this person, I hate this person? I don't think I can hate anyone because at one point in time I loved them. And if we all have the same mindset of, if one point in time I loved this person, but now I hate them, does that mean that we would never know hate? If we said, okay, well, I love this person, but I know that I can never be with them, or I could never be around them, or I could never, excuse me, I could never, ever let them have access to me again. And I feel like I don't, I wanted to hate a person at one point in time, and it was so easy to, because it was like, you hurt me in the worst way. And you knew everything about me and I knew everything about you, but also I had to let that hatred go because I realized how in love I still was, how in love I was, or how in love I still was. Wait, does that make sense? And after I realized I cannot hate this person, and the thing is, you try, like, you literally like grasp your mind into hating a person, and I wanted to hate this specific person so bad. But it's like, when you know someone deeply beyond what they show the whole entire world, you can't hate them. I couldn't hate her. I couldn't. So it makes me wonder, like, every single time someone says, oh, I hate this person, I hate this person, it's just like, how much did you love them to get to that amount of hatred, you know? And I'm not saying that, like, there's a difference between evil and hatred. in my opinion. Um, I feel like pure evil is a thing, but I also think that hatred stems from something. And I don't want to say it's always the case, but I do want to say it's always the case, and let's play devil's advocate. Um, I feel like hatred is always the case simply because it could have been something as small as this person wore something that you genuinely do not like and it brings you back to a bad memory, and now you genuinely hate this person because of that said piece of clothing, that said hairstyle, that said whatever the case may be. And I know it's like it doesn't have to go that deep, but in my mind it does. And as far as like a smaller aspect of hatred, I feel as if that when you hate someone that you used to be genuinely in love with, you can never really hate them. You may hate yourself for loving them so much, or and I feel like that's also what hatred turns into, hatred for yourself, because even if you hate someone, you're still giving them the same energy. And I feel like, and this is a theory, and I don't know if it's true, and don't quote me on it, but I feel like hatred and love are on the same frequency, because to feel hatred for someone is so intense, and to feel love for someone is so intense that it almost feels like I'm going to like burst into like a million little pieces. And I feel like hatred is on that same frequency, and they are like one and the same. So I genuinely do agree that as much as you want to hate a person, deep down there's some type of love still there, and it makes you angry and it makes you frustrated, because it's like, why do I even like, I hate the fact that I even still hate you, you know? And I think like people who are like, oh, I don't want to hold a grudge, or I don't hold grudges, or this, that, and the third. I personally don't hold grudges. I can't hold a grudge with someone that I've loved, because I feel like life is too short, and I feel like the universe continuously reminds me that life is too short to hate someone, but to have the hatred for someone for years and years and years, piling on to the point where it's like I could never, or I would never, or I don't want to talk to you, or whatever the case may be. I feel like the reason why I can't have hatred is because I think about in the events of me losing that person, even if we aren't talking, even if we haven't talked in years, how would I react if you were gone today? That would hurt, whether we ended on good terms, bad terms, even if like you did me the worst way. And I feel like to love, like to be loved by me is to always have someone that's going to love you, even if it's like it's been years. I genuinely never have held grudges with anyone, because it's like at the end of the day, I'm still going to love you, even if I have to love you from a distance. So I don't know. I feel like it would be easier to, at one point in time, I felt like it would be easier to hate someone than love them. But if you think about it on the aspect of it's all on the same frequency, it's kind of you doing the same thing. Like, yes, I hate you and I can't stand you and I don't want anything to do with you, and but also I adore you and I love you, and I loved you at one point in time with everything that I had in me. So I don't know. I was just scrolling on TikTok and it kind of had me deep in thought, and I feel like if I talk it out, my emotions and my feelings, it may bring me to a conclusion that I may need to hear. I feel like when people say like, oh, excuse me. I feel like when people say like, I could never love this person again, or it could never be what it was. It could never be what it was. Yes, I agree with that statement, but also I feel like to hate someone, it takes so much energy out of you. And that energy used to be something so beautiful. And I'm not downplaying anybody's emotions. If you hate someone, you hate someone. And that's that. But also, I believe that there was a deeper love there. And every single time, again, somebody's like, oh, I hate this person, I could never love this person. It's like, how hurt are you to the point where you feel like hatred is the only necessary feeling that you could feel towards this person. And how did they hurt you that bad to the point where it's like hatred is the only thing that you could say is appropriate? I think us as humans find it easier to gravitate to something so negative with a person because it's like it's easier to hate this person. It's easier to say I would never ever talk to this person again. It's easier to say that. But it's also extremely hard to say like I'm always gonna love this person. It's just not gonna be like we're never gonna be what we were. That's my TED talk.